Hey, what's up, everybody? It's a little bit late at night, and I just can't stop. I just can't stop creating things because I'm a weird person. So my voice will be a little more quiet maybe this time, but it's okay. We gotta talk about a couple things. I'm gonna get a little bit weird in this one. It might be a little sad, a little reflective. Mitch McConnell. There's something wrong with this dude doing dumb stuff, and then Putin and Trump and Biden's decisions and Ukraine and Israel and just the whole thing is just it really doesn't feel too good. You know, Before we get started, there was actually another news thing that came out. There was a rare sighting. There's a new bird species that was found. That's the one good thing that came out of the Ukraine Russian war is a brand new bird species was found there. I have a video right here before I get started. And we're gonna look for some happiness in this video. We're gonna watch David Pakman sound just sounding like David Pakman and looking like David Pakman and all that. And we're gonna make fun. There's gonna be memes. There's gonna be stuff. It's gonna be a great time. Stick around. Ignore the fact that I sound like I'm gonna cry. And then oh, check out this bird, dude. This is crazy. This bird they found. It's a brand new species.
You're going to realize it one day. That happiness was never about your job or your degree or being in a relationship. Happiness was never about following in the footsteps of all of those who came before you. It was never about being like the others. One day you're going to see it. That happiness was always about the discovery, the hope, the listening to your heart, and following it wherever it chose to go. Happiness was always about being kinder to yourself. It was always about embracing the person you were becoming. One day you will understand that happiness was always about learning how to live with yourself, that your happiness was never in the hands of others. One day you will realize that true happiness comes from within, and no external factors can define it. It was always about you. It was always about you.
Everybody, we're gonna I gotta put you on to my guy Ginger Potter. Link will be in the description for his videos. I really like his shorts. It's always got some Alan Watts or some sort of quotes or some sort of something that just gets you in your feels a little bit. I appreciate his videos. I appreciate his animations, the quotes and the things he uses. I appreciate it. So Mitch McConnell, Mitch McConnell on his way out the door wants to. Rhino's got a rhino, man. They got to do what they got to do. This stuff all starts back when Matt Gaetz and the MAGA Republicans, ousted Kevin McCarthy as a rhino, got rid of him as speaker. It kind of, there was infighting before that. Of course, it can always go back farther than what I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about specifically with the Mitch McConnell, there will be no recess appointments. It's because of who Trump is naming, number one. It's a test. He's testing to see who will jump out of their seat to say that person's not qualified, this isn't fair, this isn't right, that we all stop this at all costs. He wants to see who will do that, number one. Number two, now, as I'm doing this video, I'm aware that Matt Gaetz is already withdrawn. One of the main reasons, of course, is because they're going to drag him through the mud with that little 17-year-old whatever case he has going for himself. So he's going to save himself the embarrassment. But you think Trump didn't know that that was going to happen? You think he just forgot all about that and was just hoping that they would just confirm him anyway? It's people like David Pakman. We're gonna check out a David Pakman video. These people, they really shock me, the decisions they make, the things they think. You know, it's really interesting the decisions they make whenever, a lifetime political leader, his legacy's dying, a Joe Biden making a decision to try to start World War III or whichever Biden it is. A Mitch McConnell who hates MAGA, hates Trump,
Where'd he go?
hates that the Republican Party was taken over by MAGA Republicans threw out Kevin McCarthy, which was one of his little puppets. It just these people are the worst people in the world, and they get power, and then they do the worst things with it, and then just say, "Well, I'm just following orders," or whatever. So let's now someone like David Pakman, he's so smug and he thinks he knows what he's talking about and thinks he understands Republicans, and he tries to read the situation, and it's always interesting how dumb he sounds and how ridiculous it is. Um, what do people do with power? The things they decide to do with the power that they have, no matter how little or how much they have, it's very interesting to me. I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I'm not, I don't I always say I believe in a creator or creators. I believe in a God, some God, but I'm not sure I believe in the same God you believe in. It's almost like God is something that is inside of me. It's not something that's for you to understand. That it's something for me to understand. Um so I'm not a Christian. I'm not I don't worship anything. Um let's see what David Pakman has to say. I have a lot of things to say. Maybe it just seems like I have a little bit more to say, just because so much stuff has happened in the last couple weeks with this election, this war in Russia and Ukraine. Some of the decisions that people make with their legacies on the way out the door, like Biden authorizing Ukraine to use weapons that obviously tell Putin that Britain, UK, and United States are launching missiles into their soil and getting involved, which makes him feel like he's being attacked by NATO. It's a provocation. I know there's a war and he's involved, but Biden making that decision is big. They're the decisions that are going to happen that come from everything that's happening in Israel, all the wars that are happening, all these graves that are getting filled up. And for what? Everyone just trying to peddle their influence all over the world, make these decisions. I'm telling you, I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person, and I'm telling you, that's why I'm bringing it up. One of my favorite quotes, one of my favorite movies is a religious movie, is a movie about Jerusalem and Christianity and Muslims and two great leaders, and apparently they act like, I mean, like it's a true story. Like these things are documented. These people existed, and apparently their characters will never be seen possibly in this world ever again if they truly were the way they were depicted. And obviously it's a movie. It makes it seem a little bit better, but these quotes have always stuck with me, and on like a spiritual level, and just with these things and all this world ending things that seem to come up every once in a while, but these ones seem to be extra bad. And even though I might not believe in the same God that you believe in, doesn't really mean anything. That's a thing for me. No matter who created this, if it's just one, no matter how many creators there are, if it is the God that's of the Bible, I don't know, dude. I just don't. I just know not to worship things. It's not a good idea. But what, I'll just show you the clip. But so bear with me. I know I show you a lot of stuff, music, do a lot of funny things, do whatever. I don't know. You tell me if you've ever seen this before. You're gonna know what it is right away. But it's just one of the things that always stuck with me is whenever he says, "When you stand before God, you cannot say, 'But I was told by others to do thus,' or that virtue was not convenient at the time. This will not suffice." Remember that. And I did. Just so I don't make you sit through a 3, 4, 5 minute long clip. Basically, it's the movie Kingdom of Heaven. Some great actors. Watch it. I'm telling you, if you like. Uh, anyway, I'll stop rambling. But set it up, King Baldwin IV was the ruler of Jerusalem at the time. They called him the Leper King. He's wearing this mask because he's a leper and he looks absolutely horrific. He's horribly disfigured. Um, and he's meeting the son of someone that was very close to him, that he never met. Um, I don't know if he was a bastard or whatever it was, but he just never met one of his closest advisors' sons, and knew that he had a son, but never met him. And one of his close advisors, he now knows that he's dead, and he passed on, his knighthood and his, because he's a Knights Templar, dude. This is about the Crusades. So he he basically made his only son a knight to carry on his name at the last minute whenever he realized that he was a man. He was a good man. And now he's meeting King Baldwin IV for the first time, as he was just a little blacksmith in a little tiny town, and now is in Jerusalem, meeting King Baldwin. So his life just went crazy, just like in whatever a fortnight. And this is them two meeting for the first time, and meeting with a great king. And I don't know, I just this always stuck with me. I don't know why. Let me know if you ever seen this movie before.
Do you play? The whole world is in chess. Any move can be the death of you. Do anything except remain where you started, and you cannot be sure of your end. Were you sure of your end once?
I was.
What was it?
To be buried 100 yards from where I was born.
And now?
Now I sit in Jerusalem and look upon a king.
When I was 16, I won a great victory. I felt in that moment I would live to be 100. Now I know I shall not see 30. None of us know our end, really, or what hand will guide us there. A king may move a man. A father may claim a son. That man can also move himself. And only then does that man truly begin his own game. Remember that howsoever you are played, or by whom, your soul is in your keeping alone. Even though those who presume to play you be kings or men of power, when you stand before God, you cannot say, "But I was told by others to do thus," or that virtue was not convenient at the time. This will not suffice. Remember that.
I will.
Do you know what this is?
A fortification.
What do you think of it? You disapprove. Well, how would you improve it?
A cross. Or better, a star. Like this. That we know part of the fortress may be approached without being exposed to fire from another part.
Yes, I like this. Your walls are more difficult to address. Very good. You will go to your father's house at Ibelin, your house now. And then from there you will protect the pilgrim road. Safeguard in particular the Jews and the Muslims. All are welcome in Jerusalem, not only because it's expedient, but because it is right. Protect the helpless, and then maybe one day, when I am helpless, you will come and protect me.
Sorry, I felt it was necessary to keep in the final little part that was after the main quote while they were playing chess that I like, just to show, that's kind of, I believe it's been a long time since I've looked into that stuff. I believe that was after the Second Crusades, I believe. I could be wrong on that 'cause it's been a long time since been a long time since I looked into it. But you know, even though it was brutal and all the people, whenever the Christians took over Jerusalem, they slaughtered all the Muslims, women, children. They just killed everyone. Eventually, in the movie, you meet King Saladin. He comes with the Muslim army, I believe from Egypt, I believe. And and he comes there to confront them because some murders happened on that pilgrim road, and it wasn't good. And King Baldwin and King Saladin really the victory that he talked about that he won, King Baldwin won when he was 16. That was a victory against King Saladin that led the Muslim army at the time. Um, anyway, I'm rambling about that for no reason. I'm sorry. Maybe you're interested in it. I don't know. I'm just talking. We're just. It's 4:57 a.m. I can't sleep, and I'm thinking about dumb shit, and we're gonna have some fun here in a second. But yeah, that's just was a really good movie. If you watch it, it is phenomenal. I don't want to ruin anything else about it, but the point I left in the end was even though the Crusades were brutal and they killed everyone, the Christians killed everyone. King Baldwin, everyone, he was loved and admired because he accepted all religions. Jerusalem was supposed to be a place, it was a holy place for everyone to be allowed to come there, and no one's allowed to be murdered. It's a safe place. No one's allowed to do it's not like that. It's a place for worshiping your own God in your own way. And that's kind, you see, I put a bow on it here at the end here. But anyway, we're gonna get into the actual trash humans. Um, we're gonna make fun of David Pakman because, dude, he sucks so bad. So Mitch McConnell, he's trying to. We're gonna focus on McConnell. So he's gonna try to block some stuff and do some stuff because he's a RINO and RINO's got a RINO. And David Pakman, he thinks he got it all figured out, but he don't know the turtle like I know. Did you know the turtle? Turtle, dude. Mitch McConnell, the turtle, and David Pakman. Let's check it out.
We have some potentially disastrous news for Donald Trump's completely unqualified threat to national security cabinet picks. You know who I'm talking about. And MAGA is furious.
And you might want to gargle my ball sack.
And Maggie is furious. Yeah, David Pakman. I'm super duper furious that the exact things that we knew would happen happened. I'm like, well, I'm so furious. Dude, you got us pegged. You know exactly what's going on. I'm so mad. Please tell me more. You will hear more from the all powerful Nostra dumbass. Uh oh, I almost went super too inappropriate. I mean, I was dropping a bird's ball sack on your on your face, and now what I was gonna say was a little was too far. It was too far. What I was gonna say was too far. Nostra dumbass, Nostra smug ass. So I'm glad I didn't say that. I guess I could have edited it out. I forget that I can. Can I? Should I edit myself? Nah. Tell me more.
Mediaite reports MAGA flips out
Oh, really?
over now deleted tweet claiming
That
Mitch
sucks.
McConnell told the Trump team there will be no recess appointments. This is absolutely fascinating. I hope, of course, that it is true. A number of articles have been written about this. Some are not particularly high quality articles, but let me lay out what it is that is being alleged. Supporters of Trump freaked out on Senator Mitch McConnell after a now deleted tweet claims he spoke out against recess appointments for Trump's nominees. Sunday evening, last night, New Yorker staff writer Jane Mayer wrote in a now deleted post on X, we might call it an excretion, quote, message to Team Trump, there will be no recess appointments, Senator Mitch McConnell said tonight at a Washington gathering. Recently, Trump's nominees have faced significant pushback, as many doubt some of them will get enough support from Republican senators to make it through. So here's the tweet from Jane Mayer. That tweet has since been deleted, And of course, immediately blowback and backlash from endless Republicans.
Dude, imagine being a Democrat and as far as you know, at least, losing your democracy and your freedom of choice for your nominees and how the Democrat Party works back in 2014, 2015, whenever Hillary Clinton bought her primary against Bernie Sanders, and I'm sure it was happening well before that with the Obamas and everything. But I'm just let's just say what you were willing to admit on TV with Elizabeth Warren and Jake Tapper on CNN and Donna Brazile back in 2015.
This is a test for Tom Perez, and either he's going to succeed by bringing Bernie Sanders and Bernie Sanders representatives into this process, and they're going to say it's fair, it works, we all believe it, or he's going to fail. And I very much hope he succeeds. I hope for Democrats everywhere. I hope for Bernie and for all of Bernie's supporters that he's going to succeed.
Very quickly, Senator, do you agree with the notion that it was rigged?
Yes.
Could you imagine? And then years and hoping Tom Perez fixes it for the Democratic Party. Fast forward years later, and you commit a coup against Biden, one of your legacy Democrats, commit a coup against him to install a puppet, a committee person that doesn't have a single thought in her head other than what the committee of people that run her tell her what to do. You installed her when she got 0 votes. Your side, your part, and then all the infighting between the old guard Biden camp and those people and the new camp that's coming in. You just lost an election so brutally. And could you imagine being a Democrat and having to pretend that Donald Trump's picks and Mitch McConnell trying to block it and be an inconvenience to Donald Trump is freaking us out and making it is like some sort of story about how bad of shape the Republican Party is in. Could you imagine having to like make a video about that like that and like trying to be genuine and also be super crazy smug about it? Like like you know what you're talking about and like you're just like, if this is true, this is fascinating. How they're tearing each other apart, and it's just, isn't it great? Like I can't believe what's happening to their party. The Republicans that are saying, "I why are you doing this? What are you doing?" It's because he retires so he can choose his replacement before Trump takes office, so he can make sure he puts a RINO, never Trumper in there and screw Trump over and try to block things and try to stop the government from functioning and stop Trump from governing and actually doing things to help Americans. And here a smug elitist leftist is bragging about it and hoping that Mitch McConnell is successful in deterring Trump's plans, which are plans to help all of us regular working class people. But to smug, super intelligent, educated David Pakman, that's not what Trump's gonna do, and he's really just gonna rob the government, I guess, or whatever. He's probably gonna, like, send a bunch of, like, billions and trillions of dollars to Ukraine to continue a war. Maybe Trump will do that. I don't know. Anyway, but but but, of course, Mitch McConnell is trying to screw Trump over. There's footage of him going into the meeting to tell everyone that there's not gonna be any recess appointments. Here's video footage of it right here.
I don't mean to keep harping, but the name the Turtle Club, it's just a name. I think you're taking it a little bit too literally.
Turtle? May I help you? Are you a member of the Turtle Club?
Well, not exactly.
Not exactly, but am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
Is he okay?
He's fine.
He's fine, Turtle. Turtle.
He's dreamt of this place ever since he was a child.
Turtle.
Do you think we can go in for a moment? We'll be out in 5 minutes. Please.
All right.
Turtle.
Then he came in, he told everybody that he's still in charge, even though, he retired from his position. That only just means I quit and I'm taking the ball home with me, and I'm gonna give it to who I want because I'm such a big fat crybaby. And the guy won that I didn't want to win because I'd rather go against my own party than have this guy win because I'm such a delusional crybaby little bitch. And then the and he tries to fight back, and then it's just like, dude, he's almost dead. He's almost dead, basically. And then he has one last, like, it was shocking. He was gonna do shocking behavior. All I can really say is I hope that this is the last time that we ever see the likes of Mitch McConnell because he is a horrible, horrible human.
You're crazy. I can't give you that information.
Oh,
No information. What if harm found its way to you? Terrible, terrible, terrible harm. Would that change your mind?
Remember, everyone, this is our one shot to stage the insurrection against Trump. Emotions are still high. If we wait any longer, it won't work. You have the speech on the teleprompter ready? Beautiful.
The infection was the Iwo Jima League. How could there have been 2 millions more boats than in the fast lane, man? There's no exploitation. They put me in the... where am I, man? Where am I, man? Oh, right, sorry, Jack.
Make the text larger!
We cannot allow ourselves to be in a dong party relationship where Rick Scott are able to steal the inflection, man. Right.
Give me the earpiece. President Biden! President Biden, can you hear me?
Are you my conscience, man?
Yes, listen to me.
You got it, Daddy.
I need you to say one thing, just one thing. For me, your conscience.
Oh, you're right. I did it. I stole the 2020 election, man. I admit it.
No. Just repeat after me.
No. You didn't steal the 2020 election. Don't say you stole the 2020 election. Take that back, Mr. President. You gotta say, stop repeating after me. I didn't mean like that. Stop repeating what I... No, you are still repeating what I say. Cut it out. Stop.
Stop it! Stop! One thing. I just need you to say one thing. Okay?
You got it, man. My fellow Americans, I have an important message for you. The most important I will deliver in my presidency, pertaining to the 2024 presidential election. My fellow Americans, there is no easy way to say it, so I'll just come out with it.
The election was rigged! The election was... Hello!
The election, my fellow Americans, the presidential election was on Tuesday. The election was on Tuesday. Thank you, man.
Plan B. Get Kamala out here.
My fellow Americans, okay? The election was...
Alright, I needed a little bit of a palate cleanser there before we get in to the finish, okay? Where David Pakman is gonna call TOOLSI Gabbard TOOLSI to refer to her as a tool. Did you see how clever that is? How he calls her? Her name is TOOLSI. He calls her TOOLSI. He does it a million times in the video. And let me tell you, it's like whenever he does it, it makes me super excited. It makes me super excited. Like, my pants. Let's just say my pants get tight for some
Getting an
reason.
unexpected erection in
It's
public
not
can be
Thanksgiving yet,
awkward,
so
but there are ways to
not
hide
that.
it. One method is to wear tighter underwear.
His previous views on Tulsi, he was never good with her. He never said he was gonna. He never wanted her to be president. He considered her a 0 to 1 percenter. What was another 0 to 1 percenter that he wasn't interested in either? I can't remember her name. She's not important, I guess. Um, Kamala Harris, that was her name. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's not important. But he was eh, he was down on Tulsi, but he was up on Castro and Elizabeth Warren in 2020. That's who he wanted. Elizabeth Warren and Castro. That's who his two were gonna be. That's the two that he thought that he liked the most. Um, when it came to like the lower level, when it came to the lower level people, Tulsi didn't even get he wasn't interested in her. But he also says that he glows about her. Whenever he talked about her, he would be glowing. I'm very confused. I think he was confused. I think he likes to ride the fence as much as possible because he's a smug little prick and he has to be able to make that big stupid face like he's right all the time. So he probably just says everything. Because I tried finding like concrete stances of him on Tulsi, and it was not clear other than the only reason he wouldn't get behind her is because really she couldn't get enough votes. And then the videos kind of divulge into calling her a conspiracy right wing, alt right crazy person, which is what they do. This is what they do when they leave the Democrat Party. When you leave the plantation of the Democrat Party, you are othered immediately. They are the most intolerant, bigoted, ridiculously biased and partisan people you'll ever meet in your entire life. And David Pakman is prime example. Hey, I'm sorry, my voice is messed up, but we're gonna keep pushing and get this done and over with. But this is rough. Low palate cleanser. Let's get through it.
Let's hope that this is true. Now, there really are two sides to this. We spoke with Tim Miller, former Republican consultant, last week about one aspect to this. There is a view that some of the lowest quality Trump picks, people like TOOLSI Gabbard and Matt Gaetz, are not really being selected to be confirmed. They are sort of sacrificial lambs, and that eventually, when their nominations are rejected by the Senate, or if it might not even get to that point, but if it does, they'll be rejected, or it might be communicated before confirmation hearings. Listen, they're just not getting in. You've got to pick someone else. One view is it's part of the plan, and Trump has his real pick in his back pocket, someone less cartoonish, but more effective and likely more dangerous. Tim Miller doesn't believe that that's the case, and I'm inclined to think it's also not the case. When George W. Bush selected Harriet Miers to the Supreme Court, it seemed as though he had the wherewithal and personality and advisors that it might have been indeed a planned sacrificial lamb of a completely unqualified person to then put in the real pick. Or it worked out that way, regardless. I don't think that Donald Trump functions in that way. And in fact, what we saw during his first term and since is that his impulse control is extraordinarily limited and that his ability to think strategically is also not particularly well developed.
Come on now, you expect me to believe that? You expect me to believe that? I don't. No way. Come on, no way.
Really, this is a political expert analyst that goes on talk shows and talks to people and gives his opinion, and he speaks so articulate. He's just so educated. But he doesn't think Trump thinks that way, and he hasn't. His strategic thinking really isn't very well developed. Excuse you. he just absolutely decimated your entire party. Your party is imploding because of what he did to you. But you're gonna pretend that the Republicans are having problems and fighting over there. Yes, Trump did pick some people to see who would recoil and screech because we're trying to figure out who is GOP and who is America First because the party's changing. We're going America First. We're not going back to the old GOP. We don't want that. We're done with that. So when McConnell did what he did to jerk Trump around, he jerked McConnell around with picking Gaetz because Gaetz is an America First Trump loyalist that pushed to remove Kevin McCarthy, who's a RINO establishment, McConnell guy. So the Gaetz thing is just to poke McConnell after McConnell poked Trump. And it's just that's really all it is. And then you're like, it's so and then you bring up Tim Miller. Tim Miller of all people, dude. Like, look, this is Tim Miller, and then you say a former Republican consultant or whatever you claim he is from the bulwark. You ever see Tim Miller? This is Tim Miller. Tell me if this is like a Republican conservative or any sort of like right wing type person. Tell me if this is what they would act like if Carrie Lake touched them while speaking.
And she put the video out. So I don't know. I thought I embarrassed her, but she thought it was good enough to put it out. So I think that shows that like her audience isn't gettable swing voters or David Pakman's audience. Like her audience is these MAGA folks that want to see her telling me that I'm wrong.
What did you make of when she kind of strangely touched you in the middle of it? Where and like
some of my colleagues at the board get mad at me because I'm also a toucher. I'm generally a toucher. It's okay. You can hug me if you see me out in public and we're pals. But to me, it felt manipulative.
Right.
It's like, it's one thing to pat me on the shoulder, but she tried to grab both of my hands like a condescending, aunt, telling you that you need to start behaving and stop smoking cigarettes. And I was like, this is not the environment for that. So that caught me off guard. And I think it probably just like the fact that I don't really want Carrie Lake touching me in any environment definitely had an impact as well.
I'm not trying to be a crude monster or anything, okay? I don't mean any disrespect to Carrie Lake whatsoever at all. And no, I don't think she's like some smoking hot, amazing vixen, the hottest American woman I've ever seen in my life. Oh my goodness, she's just the epitome of hotness. No, I'm nothing like that. But there's something about a smart, articulate woman who is powerful, speaks very well, and commands her room when she speaks. She used to be a reporter, so she has that voice. There's something about her. I can't lie. I would allow her to wear a power suit and extinguish cigarettes out on my bare skin. That's for me. That's not for everyone, but hey, you know what? He's not into it. He don't want to be touched by her.
Or tie a hoodie or sweater around your waist to conceal the erection. Crossing your legs or flexing your thighs can help draw blood away from the erection.
About Republicans and about the GOP because, he's a former Republican, he's a former conservative, he's a former he was moderate. He's a moderate Republican. There's no moderate Republicans anymore. And so whenever he smears Republicans every day, all day, and that's all he does is talk badly about Republicans, it really means a lot because he used to be one. What is that? Why did the Democrats do this? Why did they pretend to why did they do this? Like what's her name, Anna Navarro or whatever on The View. I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican. I was a Republican. And then all you do is just complain about Republicans all day long. It's like this weird tactic you guys do. Here is a perfect example of Tim Miller hanging out with other conservatives that are just like him, and them all just realizing they're all just conservatives. Look, that him explaining being touched by Carrie Lake and her and them just having a brief conversation. What was that giving conservative man the way he explained that? Is that what that was giving? Was conservative, moderate conservative, you know, Republican man? Is that how Republic? Now I know I'm not saying every conservative is some burly man's man, and we got hey, you got Elon Musk jumping like a little autistic jumping bean. It's fantastic. I like all different types of people. I'm not saying that you got to be a certain way to be a conservative. I'm just saying that when these people are so fake and they pretend they used to be Republicans and that their opinion matters while they smear Republicans, and then they're clearly the antithesis of everything that current neoconservatism is and the American First Party. Yeah, everyone looks at you like a traitor because you're a traitor to the country. That's what Democrats are at this point. But yeah, but this is Tim Miller hanging out in his jean jacket with his gots to have his pooks, and this is him and his conservative buddies talking bad about how this is him hanging out. They're talking about how bad the conservatives are now. They went so far right, dude.
So listen, I've been thinking, we got off on the wrong foot here. And I believe it's because we're just too damn similar.
You do?
Absolutely. We both love premium tequila, Robin Thicke.
Oh, yeah.
Gots to have my pooks.
Gots to.
And of course.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
So I'm inclined to think that Trump picked Gaetz because Gaetz is the guy who will weaponize the DOJ against Trump's political enemies. That's what Trump wants, and that's what Gaetz will do. That's why Trump picked him. I think it's that simple. I think Trump picked TOOLSI to Director of National Intelligence because he genuinely thinks that that's the person that will be the right combination of completely and totally subservient to Trump, will do what he wants and says, and also will sort of agitate people on the left because TOOLSI is someone who used to claim to be on the left, even though there was never really anything progressive about her. So I think Trump really wants TOOLSI.
Okay, so to finish this video up, this idiot David Pakman and Tim Miller, they think Matt Gaetz was chosen because he would pursue all of Donald Trump's political opponents and, accuse them of a bunch of false crimes that they didn't commit and use him as revenge. And that he knew that Matt Gaetz would be his puppet to go after all of his political opponents and put them all in jail. Dude, again, you're projecting. That's what you guys did, and you're afraid that Trump will then do what you did to him, you're afraid he's going to do to you now, which you deserve, but I don't think he'll do anyway. Matt Gaetz, again, was to make the rhinos squirm so we can see which ones are squirming, and it was a twist of the knife to Mitch McConnell. It's all it was, dude. You're thinking way too hard about it. Then when we get to Tulsi Gabbard, I mean, let me get this right. A military woman, a veteran, someone who served 2 tours in the Middle East, a person who ran for president she was the youngest person ever in Hawaii to be elected at 21 years old to office. She is an extremely strong woman. I mean, well, just physically, obviously. I mean, look at her. She obviously works out quite a bit, and she's I don't want to say she's ex-military. I believe she's still in the National Guard. Maybe she left since then. All that stuff's irrelevant. So you're telling me that that woman who was elected to office as the youngest person in Hawaii at 21 years old, someone who was in the Hawaii National Guard and volunteered for 2 tours in the Middle East, and says this whenever she ran for president in 2019. Quote, "Going through these experiences changed everything for me in my life," Gabbard said. "I was not the same person when I came home from that war as I was when I left. And it's why I am so deeply committed to doing everything I possibly can to making sure that not a single one of our men and women in uniform, not another service member, has their life sacrificed in the pursuit of wars that have nothing to do with keeping the American people safe." She said that in an interview. That these 2 articles are going to be posted in the description so you can check them out yourself. Okay, in 2008, 2009, she was deployed to Kuwait, where she served as a primary trainer for the Kuwait National Guard. Okay, just hear me out real quick. So remember when she got in trouble for meeting with Bashar al-Assad in 2017? She said she is not concerned about the political consequences of her willingness to meet with adversaries. Quote, "If it means meeting with a dictator or 100 dictators in order to prevent unnecessary loss of life, I'll do what is necessary. I know the reality," she said. "The only alternative to diplomacy is war, and for too long we've had leaders who have lacked the courage to meet with those people, whether they be adversaries or dictators, in the interest of our national security, in the interest of peace and keeping our people safe." Gabbard called for an end to being the world's police and an end to these regime change wars and for de-escalating these tensions so that we can work towards a future that is peaceful and prosperous. And the final quote from her: the objective of diplomacy is to meet with those leaders who you disagree with. That's who Trump wants to put in charge of national security and intelligence on national security, okay? And this absolute smug arsler absolutely just said that she will roll over. Trump is picking her because, oh, not to mention when she ran for president and she got 0%, and then the Democrats attacked her for everything that she did with reaching across the aisle. She was brave enough to leave her political party behind and tell America they need to do the same and wrote a book about it. You're telling me that woman and all those quotes I just read, all those things I just talked about her, Trump picked her because she's so weak and she's so, what do you say? Subservient. She is completely subservient to Trump. You think TOOLSI Gabbard, I'm sorry, you think TOOLSI Gabbard, you think she is completely subservient to anyone? I find that pretty rich coming from someone like David Pakman and Tim Miller, some of the fakest, most disingenuous political analysts I've ever heard speak in my entire life. I'm gonna get done. I'm gonna end this now. I was gonna actually cover some other stuff. I'm gonna put those articles, everything, anything I used, links, description in the description. Check it out. Sources will be down there. I got a big one that I'm working on with Russia that's going to be really long, unfortunately for you guys. Might put some of you to sleep. We're going to do a deep dive on Russia, but I got a bunch of other stuff. I'm working on so many projects right now, guys. I got so much stuff coming at you. Make sure you do the things. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm a brand new content creator. I got double-digit subs. Do you know how much effort I put into videos like this? If you've ever edited before, and remember, I'm self-taught. I taught myself how to edit just like in the last couple months, dude. And I've only been posting videos for a couple weeks. Like, I'm gonna get really good at this. I'm teaching myself. I've never even watched a tutorial. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a complete amateur. Every video I make, I learn some new technique or something new that I'm like, oh, I can do that. Oh shit, I didn't know that. So come for the journey. Do the things. Press the buttons. Do the things. I'll see you on the next one.
Well, America, I hope you like measles.